Namaste everyone and welcome to the Spake Satguru Sivananda. So Nana is here and we are going to discuss about the quotes of Guru Garu, and Nana is going to give the background of the quote, how to understand it. He's going to explain how we can understand the quote and also elaborate on that. Now I'm going to share the quote. 1 second. There is a quote. In a state of desirelessness, man does meritorious acts and does not even expect to be thanked. It is for the others to remember. He does not remember. In a way, this kind of attitude makes the actions not binding on him. The results of the actions do not bind him since he has no desires. Desirelessness cuts the bonds that chain one to the material earth. The bonds get weakened and he is free. The snare in which he is caught is cut into pieces and he frees himself. So this is a very big concept, and also in continuation with the previous one, Nana, what I can see is we were talking about how Guru has no expectation from his disciples. We were talking about that, and Guru is not desireless, is he? He has a desire that his disciples get a gnana or moksha. So when we are talking about the state of desirelessness here, it's not, it is towards the worldly bonds and worldly things rather than towards achieving moksha or getting gnana, right? The desirelessness here, what does it indicate? And it is almost similar to what Buddha has said, right? Buddha says you have to be desireless. That's how you go above and achieve moksha. We have discussed about Buddha as well previously. So because of which I'm just kind of bringing that one up. So quite a few points here. First, take it from desirelessness, Nana, and then we will go forward.
Let us take it as a whole.
Okay.
Because desire always, it is, an understream. It flows into everything. It's just like underground water streams.
So when you say desire, do you mean the desires that we have here on pertaining to worldly things, or the desire to achieve moksha or gnana? So we have to be clear on that.
All desires are only material.
Okay, so moksha is not a desire?
For that, you did not ask for even for example, who desires is also important.
Okay.
It's not a question of what is desired, but who desires. This is also very important. Because last time also we took the reference of Guruji, where Guruji said, I have 1,000 desires every day.
Yeah, that's why.
I put before Ishvara. When he is doing his puja, he puts before Ishvara.
Yes.
So he says he has 1,000 desires. So it was also gives us to remember that there was one Maha great scholar who is also a ritualist who was doing Sri Puja so regularly, Devi Puja. He visited Guruji. He said, Guru Garu, because since so many years I have been doing all the pujas, worships to Sri Chakram. And I have not asked anything from him, from this Amavaru. Had no desire, I have put forth no desire before Amavaru. Then Guruji said, no, if such is the case, it's a very great thing. Mahanbhava, you give me your feet, just, put forth your feet, I would make namaskara. Why? Because every day I have thousands of desires. And even if some are satisfied, there are numerous things are coming up. There is no dearth of desires. So that is the condition. That is the condition of Guru Garu.
Then the desires are different. Guru Garu desires are for us.
So who desires is very important. What is desired is also important.
Yes, because Guru Garu thinks about Desham, Loka Kalyanam and us.
Yeah, you can ask 1,000 things for Loka Kalyanam, for the culture, and for this fellow or that fellow's health, and this and that, because he doesn't desire anything for himself. He doesn't have any desire for himself. So the desires are also there, it has to be distinguished. Guruji's desires are different, and Sudarshan's desires are different. And
what you has a million desires as well.
What you are going to desire is also very important.
Yes.
And who is desiring is also important. And another important, whom you are desiring is also important.
So for example, whom, do you mean from whom or what you are desiring?
No, not from whom. From whom you are expecting, the desire has to be satisfied. Suppose there is a very rich thief is also there. You can ask something from him. Perhaps he may give you. You are going to a wealthy man, asking something from him, some favors, he's doing the favor. You are going to the king, asking for favors, he also gives you something. If you are going to God and ask favors or desires to be satisfied, he would also give. Even if you go to a Gandharva, if you can do some mantras with regard to Yaksha, you get all your material desires fulfilled. You did not go to Ishvara, Guruji says. But your desires, you don't need to tap Ishvara. If you want, desire is more important to you. If you think that your desire is more important to you, you can tap any door. You can also share something from the thief. You can share something from a crooked fellow. You can also share something, the one who had become rich, with unlawful wealth. So these things are, because who is important, what is also important, from whom is also more important. So here, Guruji is starting with a state of desirelessness. So you can have 1,000, Guruji has 1,000 desires. But he is in a state of desirelessness. He is not in our state of looking for desires.
I like
he is at the state of a desirelessness. He doesn't have a desire for himself. He even doesn't ask for moksha also. So he is not asking, because in the case of Hanuman, we have referred to this. Hanuman was so staunch devotee that he was not asking for anything from Sri Rama, because Sri Rama was his Lord. But he was not asking anything from Sri Rama, not even moksha. And he is not even saying that Sri Rama should be here, he should be there, should sit before me all the time. So he doesn't have any desire for him to ask Sri Rama. And on the other hand, he also says that Hanuman is there to serve if anybody asks. So there is also a story going by where it seems that the Hanuman has said, you don't disturb Sri Rama. It's not necessary to disturb Sri Rama. Whatever your desires are, you please put forth. Let me know just it. You need not pray me. You just let me know about your desires. I will give you. I can see that your desires are satisfied. So he is in such a state. He is such a state of granting any desire. When is it possible for him? When he is in the state of a desirelessness. So in the state of desirelessness, man did meritorious, say, take for example Hanuman. Hanuman has done meritorious work. So we cannot find any such devotee who has done as many things as Hanuman did. For the culture, for his Lord, for everything. So here he made thus meritorious acts and did not expect any even thanks from the beneficiary. So he is not expecting anything. He is doing meritorious jobs. In what state? When he was in the state of desirelessness. So here we have some, we can take examples from our great souls. What Guruji has said here, it is just the state of Sri Krishna. All the lines, even every word which you read here is when they are looking into a shape, it comes Sri Krishna. It is Sri Krishna. Because Sri Krishna has done all the meritorious works, in so many meritorious works. So many, even as a kid, he has performed so many things. As a boy, he did. As a man, of course, several things. So, from the time he took birth, from that moment onwards, he has been on doing something meritorious things for the sake of dharma, for the sake of good. But he did not expect anything from anybody. We cannot get any reference to this that he asked Arjuna or Dharmaraja to do this or to do that. Anybody, he did not ask him. He did not expect also anything. Even if they surprisingly give him some shocks, even then, he was not mindful of that. So it was he who did not expect any thanks. But he continues to do that. He does not get disappointed. Even the other people misunderstand him. Kauravas have misunderstood him. But even then, he was not mindful of that. It is for the others to remember. But he also doesn't remember that he has done this. He never reports himself that he has done this. And he also forgets what he has done. Forgetfulness is also a great virtue, according to Guruji. What you should forget? You should forget all unpleasant things which bother you too much. You just forget it. There is also an example that Guruji said, when he was in the service, in the police as the highest official, there were some important documents and there was also some cash which he had to create into the treasury, but the time was over. So he brought these things home and he kept it open in the dryer because he did not even he of course he never locks anything. He doesn't keep in the lock. But suddenly he was called to go to Hyderabad. So he forgot about this, and then he just went. Amar was also not at that time. Amagar was also not. He was alone, and then he somehow locked or unlocked it. He left the home urgently. He was called, and he went to Hyderabad. It was in those days 3 or 4 hours journey to Hyderabad. So after getting into the train, he remembered that he kept all these very important documents and also the cash there without lock and key. And then how if something happens, how he was also in a way he was thinking about how it would be. And then whatever it may happen. Why should I worry? Why should I think about that? I should forget immediately that I have left it there. So the next moment he forgot it, what he did. So he went and he attended office, he came back, and then casually he opened the almara. Everything was safe. Because it's the Prakriti who takes care. He did not take care. But as long as he remembers it, he would be thinking about that. So he does not want to think. So he wanted to forget it. Because now, if you want to forget anything, that you are going to remember most. Whatever you want to force him, otherwise, you may be forgetting. Very important things also you may be forgetting. That's okay. But if you want to forget anything deliberately, that is not possible. So he does not remember what had happened there. But sometimes we say that Guruji, you did this on that day like this, you spoke on this. So he also looks at it as surprisingly. So he doesn't remember it. And he does not remember. In a way, this kind of attitude makes the actions not binding on him. Because if he remembers it, it becomes a binding on him. If he doesn't remember what he has done to others, because generally, it's our tendency that I helped him, I helped him in paying school fee, and then I taught him this and that. I gave him the lessons and this, and I favored him. And otherwise, he should have been washed away long time ago, but I took care of him. This, more than what he remembers that you have done, you will be remembering quite often and also telling them that you have done this, you have done that. After some time, he would also ridicule you. So, we should forget what you have done to others. But Guruji, on the other hand, he says, you should not forget what others did for you. This is more important. That's again, we had also discussed about Kritanyata and Kritagnata. So you should always be Kritanya to what is done to you, whoever he helped you, whoever helped you at the very important hour. So all these things you should not forget. You are not entitled to forget. But what you have done to others, you have to forget. So all these things, it's as today's management experts, they should tell them that good thing, if you have performed anything, that you should forget. If somebody did to you, you should remember. This management. So this is more important to us. In a way, the kind of attitude makes the actions not binding. Not binding when? In this state, because you have to take for everything, you have to take that line. In this state of desirelessness, whatever you do, that is not going to bind you. So our karma theory, our karma siddhanta is not going to work there. Because you are doing desirelessly. If somebody asks you some help, you do help. But don't remember, don't expect anything. And you also forget it that you have done. So then there's not binding. Even punya is also binding. Papa is also binding. Virtues and sins are also binding to you. So you have to forget both punyas and papas. Papas should not be forgotten. Papas, you need prayashchitta. Always you should punish yourself for what you have done. That is prayashchitta. But punya has to be forgotten so that you are at least free from half of your actions. The results of the actions do not bind you since you have no desires. So the results, as the actions are not binding on you, since similarly the results also are not binding on you. So there won't be any remnants of what you have done or what is done to you. Desirelessness cuts the bonds that chain one to the material earth. So all the chains are broken and you have become free. So this is in a way how the human being who has turned human being, who has turned human, and who is going to be a soul for the upgradation, that man should slowly get this kind of thing. So this is something like a becoming super being. He's a kind of a super being. So this super being is the state which every one of us have to reach. That's all. That is enough. That's more than enough. But is it possible to be always in the state of desirelessness? This is the question, very big question. Is it that simple? As it is, we are reading it very, very easily. It's not that simple. Because in the earlier I said, it was only Krishna. Keeping Krishna in the view, the entire thing, it's in the letter form, it appears. It is Krishna's image that we are reading here. Krishna was in the state of desirelessness because his soul is something else. It is an already evolved. We also believe that he is Paramatma himself. Paramatma has taken the body. There is difference between Sri Rama and Sri Krishna. Sri Rama was just a human being. He doesn't have any that supreme consciousness. He did not show any supreme consciousness. Krishna has shown his supreme consciousness in every action of his. So this is a wonderful quote where we can give many examples from the Krishna's life. Very small, very big thing, of course. Let us see if the time permits. After the war is over, Bhishma was lying on the arrows bed of arrows. And then the time was over and then he had to leave. So he has left the body. And the body has to be cremated. So the Pandavas were doing all the things, and then because he is the eldest of the Kauravas, it was Dharmaraja's duty to perform the rites. And everything was being arranged. Then they have heard a divine voice that, he should be cremated where human deaths have not taken place. That should be a place, a site. Choose a site. How is it possible among the earth, where, for thousands and lakhs of years, so many generations, how can you say that, no human being has been cremated there? So they were in a confusion. Then Krishna said, let us go into the uncharted seas, where a platform could be made for him. It's not possible on the earth. Let us go on to the uncharted seas, on the water bed. There we prepare the cremation. So somehow they have arranged this. And when Dharmaraja was going to perform, again there was a divine voice which heard that, a bachelor only, a staunch bachelor, strict bachelor only should perform. So Dharmaraja was out, and all others are also out. And then Krishna had to do that. Krishna did it. So, how Krishna satisfies this condition? I asked Guruji childishly, how is it possible, sir? Krishna, of course, when leave about 60,000 people, they may be, he was only at the age of 8 and 12, we can say that, it was only a love. And that love could be because we don't have this Madhura Bhakti concept in other languages and other languages. So you can, it means something like a platonic love for the English knowing people. But that's okay, that we can understand. But what about his 8 wives were there? And he had also biological children. Then, how is a bachelor? Then Guruji said, in the state of desirelessness, whatever he did, physically or mentally, that is not going to bind him. He is such pure Because even at the ecstatic moment also, he was in the state of that supreme consciousness. So this is not going to bind him. So there can't be any bachelor who could be equated with Sri Krishna. So such is the state which is being explained here in these lines. They look very simple, but the meaning is very deep. That we have to think it. It should be a dhyana shloka. You should use it as a dhyana and think about it. Try to inculcate the qualities of this state of desirelessness. Thank you.
Thank you, Nana. I have few questions before I open the floor to rest of our audience. About the desirelessness, this is all good. It is about Krishna, and he was in desirelessness. So because of which he is not bound by his actions. So there is no karma. There is no bond attached to him. But how do we achieve that desirelessness? And do we have to be gnani? Now, this is catch-22 situation.
That is Hema. That is called sadhana or the process.
So, do we do sadhana to get moksha? Or do we get sadhana to be desirelessness?
What is moksha? What is moksha? We do not know. But first you reach this state of desirelessness, if you can. First, unless you do some preliminary examinations, how can you write the final examination? That's the final thing. No, we have to look at the final and then forget about the steps. There are so many steps to climb. We have to go step by step by step.
Right. So first we achieve desirelessness, then we...
Then you need not think of moksha also.
Automatically we are going there. But so sadhana is the main key which takes you to that state of desirelessness. And later on over. Okay. Now we have to discuss about sadhana then at one point. You have to tell us.
Here, not in this quote.
So, the actual sadhana which takes us into desirelessness.
There is no one sadhana. It's a multi-path program. When we come there, we stand at the, what you call the square. We do not know where to go.
Yes.
How long to pursue.
Yeah. Well, the participants are also asking the same question, how to become desireless, and how do we go to the state of desirelessness is what is being asked. Someone is asking, what are the different types of sadhanas?
Yeah, but we are only going by the quotes, isn't it?
Okay.
Our scope is limited to the quotes. Okay. When the sadhana quotes will come, quotes on sadhana will also come in future, then we can
talk about them. Perfect, sure.
Because this is only a very short period. We cannot go into sadhana. Sadhana takes long years.
Okay. Yeah, but you have briefly discussed about how over the time, how people have done sadhanas like tapas, and then how tapas has transformed into over the time, then later on
tapas, yajna,
then bhakti,
puja, worship, and then bhakti.
Puja, yes.
At different levels, according to the qualities and qualifications of the words.
Sorry?
Different generations.
Different generations. Yuga or the time?
Sadhana is always, pertaining to those who can do that. If I want you to do the sadhana of tapas of the Rakshasas or the Devas, that's not possible for us. We are just crawling on the ground. So we can only do such sadhana where we can do what we can do. There may be so many sadhanas, but what is possible to you is the most important that you have to choose. Because you can't choose, you approach a guru. Take the help of a guru.
Yes.
So guru gives you sadhana.
Yes, Nana.
If necessary. If necessary, he gives you sadhana. It's not always, no.
Yes, yes.
It is the guru's discretion.
Yes.
Your desire is only your job. Desiring is your job. What to do, how to do, depends on Guruji.
Okay. So I will wrap up now. We are running out of time. So thank you everyone for joining today, and see you all again tomorrow.